Welcome to this episode of The Essence of Leadership. Today we have Miss Lisa Lindsay. So Lisa, thank you so much for giving us your time today.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Now, before we jump into this interview, let me tell you a little bit about Lisa. And some of you may have seen her business pictures in my social media. But let me tell you, she owns FruiTea Bubbles Café. And the tea is nothing short of amazing. Now that's just my spiel, but I'm not going to talk about that right now. We're just going to tell you a little bit about who Lisa is and how she got here. Lisa is, again, the proud owner of FruiTea Bubbles Café. It's over here in Smyrna in Atlanta, Georgia. It is an award-winning bubble tea business. It blends British, Caribbean, and Asian cultures. This was inspired by her Jamaican and Antiguan heritage and her family's tea time traditions. Now, Lisa transformed her lifelong passion for trees and tropical drinks into a thriving business. Raised in a home where tea was, a daily ritual, Lisa began experimenting with creative drink combinations in the early 2000s. Sharing her unique blends with her friends and neighbors. Her love for community and cultural connection became the foundation of FruiTea Bubbles Café, which opened in January of 2022 and has since earned accolades, including Cobb Chamber's top 3 businesses to watch in 2023 and 2024. Cobb Chamber's 2024 Women-Owned Business of the Year, and most recently, Cobb Chamber's 2025 Minority-Owned Business of the Year, and guys, top 25 Businesses of the Year. She has earned numerous government certifications, including her WBE, her MBE, and her ACDBE. Now, that's not all. She is a dedicated entrepreneur, community leader, and she even serves on the Principal Advisory Council for a local elementary school. It makes meaningful impact as a mentor with the Career Advisory Committee for a local high school, and is a Diamond lifetime member of the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. She is also a proud advocate and coach for women and minority-owned businesses. Lisa is a long-term resident of Cobb County, proud mother of 2 grown daughters, and spends her free time on home improvement projects, gardening, and traveling. So with that being said, welcome again, Lisa.
Thank you. That's a lot. Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot.
You actually hear it.
and I must say, guys who are watching, I'm a little biased. I go to Lisa's Cafe every first or second Saturday to host a networking meeting through the International Coach Federation. And we love all the tea, all the treats, great service. You guys got to check it out. And Lisa, thank you again for allowing us to utilize your space.
Sure, absolutely. We love having you guys. You keep it buzzing, keep it busy, and we love having you guys sharing that space.
Well, awesome. So let's get to this interview about leadership now. So you mentioned being a mentor, with the schools. What led you to, wanting to be a mentor with the high school and the elementary school?
So before I became an entrepreneur and in my prior corporate life as a business consultant or project manager, I always wanted to be a teacher, period. That was my first love. I love to learn myself, and in turn, I love to teach others what it is that I learned. So as my career kind of progressed, I didn't go into teaching, but that love was still there. I went into project management instead, IT project management. But I always volunteered, and that's where I was able to fulfill that desire and that burning need to be able to continue to teach. So from being a Girl Scout leader to and from the little ones all the way up to the ambassadors, just teaching has always just been, and having an influence on others have always just been intricate to my spirit, my soul. Even financial literacy for youth. I think that's something that's just extremely important. And who else is going to teach? So, or who else is going to let the youth know about what they need to know to be successful in the future? And that's where my passion really lay.
Awesome. Now, you mentioned something that you have a love for learning.
Mm-hmm.
What keeps that fire burning for you to be like, I want to learn something else? Because you've accomplished so much in 4 years?
That's something that's just been instilled in me since I was little. And again, having West Indian parents, education is extremely important. And not to go off on a tangent, I'll just, tell you just a quick example of that from my dad. So I remember, I think I was in middle school at the time. It was like junior high school, but came home. I had an English test. It was actually more so vocabulary and punctuation. And I came home, hey, I got a 98 on this test. And my dad said to me, well, where's the other 2 points? And he was right. And the only thing that I missed on that paper was an apostrophe, a little mark. If I dropped my pen on the paper, that's where the apostrophe would have been. Point is that learning was just so intricate and so critical. So if you don't give yourself that extra push, and there's more that you can know, that's one of the reasons that I love to learn so much. And things are changing all the time. So it is absolutely essential just to kind of keep, and things are interesting, not for nothing. Life is interesting. People are interesting. So if you don't learn and you just stay stagnant, and that's just not who I am.
Awesome. Now, everything I was going to ask you, like hitting on it. So you talked about how things are changing rapidly, right? How do you continue to keep up with that, right? Like, you've been scaling your business, and not to mention your business launched during COVID, like all of the things that people predict to be uncertain times, not a quote unquote good time to start something or a new project. What is it that drives you to continue to keep like growing and evolving during all this uncertain times God knows it's uncertain right now. So what is that that's driving you to do that?
So I ask myself the same question. Sometimes I feel like I just have blinders on and I just go. And truly, I've just truly allowed myself to be led. What God tells me I'm supposed to do, I do it. And I can't even question it. Or maybe I question it, but I don't have a choice in the matter. I have to absolutely do it. But in order to continue to progress and to continue to scale, I know that I can't do it alone. So I need resources. And part of that learning, it's pulling people along, teaching them as I'm going along, because this whole journey has just been a learning experience for me. Who's been fantastic for me has been the Urban League. They walked in one day and they said, hey, I know that you're a small minority-owned, woman-owned business. We've got grant money that, we'd love for you to have. And I was there the next day, learned all about it, went through the accelerator program, learned things that I didn't know, or what I needed to know about the business, which was just invaluable to me. And as a result of that, I also ended up winning that grant. So coming from an IT project management background into food service, I didn't know I went out to eat myself. I didn't know what it was to run an actual restaurant. Even from reading financial statements and the margins and from operations and HR and all of that. Didn't know what I didn't know, but was open enough in order to be able to learn all of that.
Awesome. Now, and I will give you kudos for that, because for me, I'm on the flip side, right? I'm in the leadership development space. And typically when I'm working with people who are in leadership roles, some of them are entrepreneurs like yourself, and some of them are maybe in what we would call their, quote unquote, corporate jobs.
Mm-hmm.
And the uncertainty terrifies a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's interesting that you're like, put the blinders on, stay focused, focus on the main thing. Yeah. I can't change all these other things outside, but this is one thing that I do have influence over to make better or modify, whatever that may be for you. So I definitely give you kudos for that. I've seen a lot of people stay stagnant.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And not for nothing. I mean, again, when I say that I felt like I was led, there was a need in the community, and I saw the opportunity, and kind of a visionary. If I can visualize it, then it can become a reality, and that's kind of a blessing and a curse as well too. But the business was not there. My daughters had introduced me to bubble tea. Actually, didn't know what it was. Did a little bit of research, found out that it was an industry that was growing, and there was not another place in that downtown Smyrna area. That's where, when I moved to Georgia, I spent some time until I moved to Marietta, but felt that there was a need, and hopefully the economics that I learned back in college, where there's a need, you fill a demand. So that's what I did.
Awesome. Now, you also mentioned, the Urban League, taking a class there, moving forward, getting the other financial resources that you needed. What other forms of professional development have been most impactful to you as you navigated, a lot of the challenges in your business?
What other forms of professional development such that I could ascertain from the Urban League, or?
Well, no, just in general. What have you taken other trainings? Have you gotten a mentor or a coach or anything like that?
So there's a kind of a joke. I mean, I wish kind of my coaches from the Urban League were around to hear, because they would be probably cracking up and laughing in the corner right now. So when I got introduced to the Urban League, that was just, one avenue. But they themselves, they have so many other opportunities and so many other paths. So they recognize early, Lisa's hungry. She's trying to go for this grant. She's trying to go for this class. Any resource that could potentially be beneficial that I could actually learn from, I had already signed up for. So it was to the point that they were having meetings, and they said, well, yeah, I know Lisa, she signed up for this from me. So it still, again, it was any potential thing. Like, I was in a program, Beltline Business Ventures. They taught different ways to think about presenting your business, whether or not it would be on the Beltline, or where should that model be. How many other ones have I taken? The Restaurant Resilience Program, that again gave me the foundation of it. I just actually finished the 10,000 small business, the Goldman Sachs 10,000 small business program, which was an immersion into everything that you needed to know. So after that, I had to take a break because I was, all classed out. But through there, the network that I had gained from there, the things that you can learn from other entrepreneurs based on their experiences, I think it's just a whole full round the world. You can get what you need to be successful, but still take your own path.
Right. And I guess what I think I hear you saying is having a network, continuing looking at the resources in your community, i.e. the Urban League, right?
Yes.
And being willing to commit to taking those classes. It might not agree with your schedule every day. We already know we got stuff going on. We're busy, but that commitment you have, Lisa, seems to be driving you to show up, even when it's not fitting into the schedule. You make it happen. You show up, you know what you need to do. You're learning new things, and you're open. That's something else too. Granted, you've gotten to where you are, but you're still open to learning from, other entrepreneurs and other people facilitating. So that's definitely awesome.
Yeah. Commitment and mindset. It's really, your mindset is what drives you towards success or not.
Right. Now, the other thing I'm wondering about is you have an amazing staff of people, and I've experienced nothing but great service from them. What is it? What strategies do you use to inspire and motivate your people to show up to work and keep delivering that? I have never walked in there and not had somebody welcome me or try to help me in some capacity, even when your place was full.
Nice. Well, that's great to hear, for sure. I try to make it to be a place where people want to be. Just the atmosphere, even for customers, period. You walk in, you hear the Caribbean vibes playing in the back, and then subliminally the walls are blue and the floor is sandy. So it really kind of transforms you, makes you feel like you are actually in the Caribbean, and who's miserable in the Caribbean. But as far as the staff is concerned, I mean, we've had some turnover, just like any other business, and especially food services. But I hire based on personality too. Who would be a good culture fit? Versus anybody can learn the job. I mean, right. Mixing drinks and making food, that is learned, but it's really focused on the culture. And certainly I think it's led from top down. So those are my expectations, and the staff absolutely does support that. And we make it fun. So if you can see FruiTea, that's kind of an infusion, right? And that's what we encourage our employees to do as well. They have the autonomy to create different drink combinations, and if it's kind of something good and popular, and others really kind of like that as well, then that might be something that makes it onto a menu as a staple. We've even done that with our ambassadors. We have an ambassador program where we have regular youth that come in and they order their same little, whatever drink is suitable for them. We find out what their name is. If they have a cool name, then we end up putting that onto the menu, and they feel really good about themselves, because then they can come in, they bring their friends, and they have their own drink that's named after them. So yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is. Now you mentioned that, there's turnover. That's with everybody now. I know I've seen that when I'm doing coaching sessions with different companies. Some people I've seen in Q1, I don't see them now, Lisa. And I think that's due to, of course, change in business as well. Not to mention the times that we're in right now.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, when those challenges happen, be it turnover, just some other challenging situation shows up for you, how do you foster the resilience, right, in you and your team when you're faced with those setbacks to show up the next day and we're just going to deliver excellent service anyways?
Change is inevitable. You can't stop. And I have learned to recognize that people are going to move on. You're going to do different things. And while I may have had a gem of an employee, I want them to be the best of who they can be. So if they're looking to go ahead and move on elsewhere, then I'm encouraging in that, because that may be another opportunity for somebody else to come and bring other skill sets with them to the business that we can really develop and hone off of as well too. So definitely it's fluid. It's just a different dynamic. Each time we have different people come in, and so we're always constantly changing, constantly kind of rebuilding. But as long as it's the best that we can be, that's the foundation of what we base our team off of.
Right. Now, the other thing I'm wondering is, as you're talking about this, how do you measure success? I know you mentioned with hiring, you're hiring off personality and attitude, that type thing, the making of the food, that those things can be learned. So how do you measure the success of leadership beyond we sold X amount of bubble tea today, we sold, we had 50 people come through or whatnot? How do you measure it for your own personal view, if that makes sense what I'm asking?
Customer service is huge for us too. So I need to have managers who get it and make sure that the team is working cohesively. that our customers leave happy and satisfied. And you're never going to make everybody happy, but
Right.
for the most part, the majority, as long as we have fulfilled and satisfied what the FruiTea Bubbles Cafe experience is, and I have managers who support that vision, then that's exactly what defines success for me. As long as we're delivering that experience, and of course, financially as
Right.
well, we need to make dollars and cents, but that is what is equates to success for me. Yeah.
Awesome. Now, what is the biggest leadership lesson you've learned that you were like, I wish I would have known that earlier?
The biggest leadership lesson, don't be afraid to get the right person and people in place. It is okay to allow for folks to move on. It is okay to bring new people on. Having the wrong person or persons in a role could be that makes or breaks your business. So, excuse me. So learning to cut and pivot is what's absolutely critical.
Awesome. Yeah. And I've seen that too, where people hold on for a variety of reasons. And you're like, well, for me, typically when I'm coaching them, I'm like, what are you hindering yourself from, and what are you hindering them from? Right. Because it's when one door closes, another opens, and that happens on both ends.
Yes.
And to stifle your growth, and not to mention the growth of your business and your team, right? Getting everybody in place so the cohesiveness is even stronger, right?
Yep.
I don't know. I've seen that a lot too. And sometimes people realize it down the road.
Yeah.
And they're like, I should have let, so-and-so go ahead and quit, or whatever it was, move on to another role or another organization. So yeah, that is definitely a huge lesson.
Yeah. You do have to know when to separate business and personal. And I think that's really key. You can still be personable,
right?
But you absolutely must separate the business perspective from the personal aspect.
Right. Now, Lisa, this may be a thought-provoking one for you.
Okay.
What is the why? Like the deeper purpose behind this journey you're on to continue to scale FruiTea Bubbles Cafe, because you're obviously committed to it. So what's the why behind it?
The why is the difference that I see especially in the community, the feel that I get, that I have, or the business has, and my people have made a difference to somebody who has come into the shop. Whether they didn't know what it was at first, because bubble tea is an education in and of itself. But the satisfaction and the experience that they get leaving, that's really the why. So long as I'm giving that, and as you said, in today's society, period, we need some pleasures, right? That tea time, and again, having had tea time with my family growing up, that is truly the time of day where life just pauses, it stops, and you just sit and you enjoy the moment and have a cup of tea and you have a light bite and you were just in that moment. That is what we've been trying to create, and that giving that to other people is my why. Awesome.
No, I totally get it. And I mean, being in there, like I said, I've seen people like try it for the first time, and they're trying to figure out what it is. And they're like, I don't know, should I mix this and this? And then they get this awesome cup of tea and they're like, man, this is good. And then the next person goes up to see their faces. And for me, being on the customer side, I'm like, and you've helped me pick out other drinks. I'm like, I don't know, Lisa, what do I want? Right. So it is definitely an experience. And that's pretty awesome that's what's driving you to show up to impact others' lives. Now, I have a few more questions for you now. What advice would you give to someone who's in a leadership role who's navigating like the transformation and the cultural shifts of today? Like what piece of advice would you give them?
If they're in a leadership role in entrepreneurs, in what? As an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Know your why. That's first and foremost. Know what, well, I'll tell you, this is one thing that I truly learned as well. I didn't think about it going in, right? Again, those blinders. You go in, you know your why, you're focused, right? You're on this path, but do you just keep going, or do you have a beginning and do you have an end goal? Okay. That is the one part that I didn't think about until, especially the Goldman Sachs program. It made me start to think about what is it I'm doing, why is it I'm doing, and when is going to be that end point for me. Not even to say that the end point is your success point. You can be successful throughout, but where is my end actually going to be? Am I living the lifestyle that it is that I want? Is it just something I want to continue for the next 20 years? Or do I want to pass this legacy on to my children? Do I want to go ahead and sell to another business owner? Do I want to expand by franchising? All of those are things that you've got as a leader. You do have to consider that. And it may shift several times throughout the journey. But if you don't evaluate it, then you're just robotic and you're going through the motions, and you really don't have that true end goal in where you're trying to get.
No, that makes sense. And I'm glad you said that it could change, because life changes. We learn and things impact us differently. And we're like, hey, this is great. I want to keep doing this. And then you may be 5 years later, your life has some different circumstances and you're like, no, this is not ideal anymore. And I think some people feel like it's written in stone, like they're like, this is it. This is absolute. But especially in entrepreneurship, you get to decide where you want this to go.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's exactly it. Yeah. And talking to a lot of other entrepreneurs, and you don't think about it when you're deep in that conversation, but I've heard a couple have said, oh yeah, when I had this business, or when I had that business, or when I did this. And I'm thinking, okay, but you're doing this now, right? But that means you have had it before, and you had a start and you had an end point. So and it, like you just said, it changes given the circumstances in your life for whatever reason. I thought that my daughters was going to take over my business. Well, they're in college. Well, one graduated, the other's in college, and she's involved in the business, but I'm giving her an opportunity to figure out what she wants to do with her life and not impose that onto her. So I can't make my end point be transitioning it to her until that's what she says that she wants to do. So
right. You said a mouthful there too, because that's allowing her, and I consider young adults and people who are trying to figure out their career, especially at the ages of your daughters, is that they're emerging leaders, in my opinion, right? They're trying to figure this thing out, and they're leading themselves first. That's where it starts, being able to make those decisions, figure out what's best for you, your why today, right? May not be down the line. And I think that's awesome that you've given her autonomy. We're giving both of them the autonomy to figure out, hey, I might want to go down and work with mom during the summer or whenever, but I don't know if this is for me yet. Yeah. And that speaks volumes to you allowing them to develop that decision making, because they're going to need that wherever they go.
That's right.
Whether they're working for you, working with you, or, starting their own thing, or even in, quote unquote, corporate America. The decision making ability, Lisa, I think a lot of people take it for granted. Because no decision is a decision, whether you accept that or not.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. Yeah.
Well, I want to say I appreciate your time today. But before we hop off, I want you to tell people where they can find the amazing FruiTea Bubbles Cafe, and if they can reach out if they want to, come by, maybe order, maybe get you for catering or whatnot.
Yeah, sure. No, absolutely. So we have a physical location in downtown Smyrna, 2750 Atlanta Road, Suite 112. We are also mobile too. So we're mobile to the Metro Atlanta area. We do festivals. We also go ahead and do birthday parties, and we do catering. And Demetra knows we've got a meeting space within our cafe too. So place that you can do birthday parties, you can do meetings, you can do study sessions. We've had a number of those as well too. So we are very much involved in the community. So that's where our physical location is. You can go, we're open for now 7 days a week, except for in the winters, we do close 1 day a week and also reduce our hours as well too. But we're also online. You can order online. And we are also looking for franchisees too. So you can go to our website, www.FruiTea Bubbles Cafe, it's bubbles with an S and FruiTea sort of merged together.com. And you can learn all about us and what we've got going on for the next several months.
Well, thank you, Lisa. Again, I appreciate you, and you have an amazing day.
Thanks. Appreciate you.
All right.